Good morning, kids. Welcome to Stories for Kids. If you are listening this from my podcast, please like and share with your friends and family. And if you are watching this in my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. So, kids, today I am going to start a new series that is Tenali Rama. And kids, do you know one secret? That is first time I am also reading this stories of Tenali Rama. So let's read the first story of Tenali Rama, which is Tenali meets King Rayalu. Tenali Rama was born in a village called Tenali in the kingdom of Vijayanagar, ruled by King Sri Krishna Deva Rayalu. Tenali, his original name being Ramakrishnan, had taken his name from the village where he came from. Tenali wanted to be part of King Rayalu's court, and very soon he made way to the royal palace. Tenali reached the palace and went in unannounced, interrupting a dance performance that was going on in the court. This enraged King Rayalu, and he ordered his guards to capture Tenali immediately. He had to be beheaded the next day. Tenali's mind, which always worked very fast, had already decided on a way to escape this punishment. As the guard arrived in prison to take Tenali away, he first demanded that being a Brahmin, he needed to recite his prayers before his execution. The soldiers had to fulfill his last wishes, so Tenali recited his prayers first and then he ate to his heart's delight. Tenali was now ready to meet his end, but insisted that he should be killed while in the river. That way he could chant Lord Rama's name and then flow away with the river. The guards, arranging to the request, took Tenali to the river that flowed through the city. Tenali went into the water and stood there with only his head peeping out of the water. As the guard tried to swipe his sword along his head, Tenali would dip his head into the water. This made the guard miss Tenali's head each and every time he tried. The guards gave up finally and took Tenali back to the king, explaining all that had happened. Though the king was pleased to hear about Tenali's quick wit, had decided to give him another chance to prove his intelligence. This time the king insisted that Tenali's execution take place by elephants. So the guard took Tenali to the edge of the nearby forest and put him inside a hole that they had dug into the ground for him. As they went back to fetch the elephant, Tenali started thinking of a way to get out of the hole and save his life. Just then, a hatchback washerman carrying a load of clothes on his back passed by the hole. On seeing Tenali, he inquired as to why he was sitting in a hole. Tenali replied that he too was a washerman and had developed a hatchback. Carrying load on his back, on his doctor's advice, he was sitting in the mud hole. Tenali further declared that his back was completely cured now. The washerman too wanted to try the same remedy, so Tenali got himself pulled out of the hole and helped the washerman get into it. As the washerman's clothes had to be delivered to the palace, Tenali offered to do the job for him. The washerman realized that he has been tricked when he saw the guard arrive with the elephants. King Rayalu now was very pleased with Tenali and invited him to join his court. So now we know how Tenali got into King Rayalu's court. So now I'll start the next story, which is the last wish. There was great sorrow in the kingdom of Vijayanagar this one time. King Sri Krishna Deva Rayalu's mother had taken seriously ill, and the royal physicians had informed the king that due to her old age, there was nothing much they could do for her anymore. This made the king very sad. One morning, the royal mother called for his son. When King Rayalu arrived, she said, "My son, I know that I shall die very soon, but before I go, Can you grant me my one last wish? Close to tears, King Ralus replied, Yes, mother, please tell. What is that you want, and I shall do it for you. I want to eat a mango for the last time, my son. Do you think you can get me one before my soul leave my body? Though it was early summer, Rayalu's soldiers still found a basket full of mangoes for his mother, but the old lady died as they were taking the basket to her. King Rayalu was extremely upset on his mother's death. He felt even worse because he could not grant her last wish. One day he went to Tathacharya, the royal master of court of Vijayanagar, and sought his advice on this matter. Tathacharya pondered over the issue for a while and declared, O king, as I see it, there is perhaps one way out. Your mother loved to give alms to the poor. Maybe you should give some mangoes made of gold and distribute them among Brahmins. That should make her happy. Word soon spread through the empire like wildfire, and the king was giving away golden mangoes to Brahmins. Long queues started forming outside the palace as people came from all over for the mangoes. Consequently, the gold reserve of the state were also falling, and though Chief Minister Thimmarusu pleaded with the king to stop, all his efforts fell on the deaf ears. Now, not knowing what to do, Thimmarusu decided to tell Tenali Rama about it. After hearing the whole matter, Rama said, All right, I have understood what the problem is. Please go back to the court and leave the matter to me. Next day, Tenali asked the guard to first send the Brahmins to him. As all the Brahmins gathered before him, Rama said, My friends, there has been a slight change in the whole donation process. The king will now hand over the golden mangoes only to those people who bear a blister for him. Who bear a blister from him. I will first burn your bags, and only then can you stand in line for your golden mangoes. Is that clear? The prospect of the golden mango was more tempting than the blister. Therefore, all the Brahmins allowed Tenali to burn their bags. This went on till late afternoon, till a Brahman came up to Rama and requested, Can I get 2 mangoes if you burn my bag twice? Rama was more than happy to oblige. As the king gave him only 1 mango, the distraught Brahmin said, My lord, look, I have 2 burned on my back. Please give me another mango. The king was dumbfounded at what the Brahman had to say. He soon get the whole picture from the Brahman. What is this, Rama? Why have you been torturing these poor people? Have you gone mad? He demanded. Tenali Rama simply replied, My lord, I was just following your methods to give my dead mother's soul eternal peace. You see, when my mother died recently, she kept wishing to cauterize her back so that she could remain young. But I never bothered to do anything about it, and she died. I thought that by following your principle, maybe my mother too would finally find peace. Was I wrong in thinking that way, my lord? King Rayalu understood that Rama was trying to teach him a lesson. He even remembered Thimmarusu's warning about the depleting gold reserve. Having learned this lesson, Rayalu immediately called off the whole golden mango donation exercise and thanked Rama and Thimmarusu for their loyalty. The next and the last story for today is the visit to Delhi. Let's see what happened in the story. Once upon a time, there was a great war between the forces of Adil Shah from northern part of India and the armies of King Sri Krishnadeva Rayalu. As the war continued without any side able to gain control over the other, both kingdoms decided to end the war. When King Rayalu with a huge band of court poets and philosophers reached Delhi, they were given a red carpet, welcome, and were treated very cordially. As the day progressed, Adil Shah requested the scholars and the poets of Vijayanagar to recite passages from Mahabharata. As the poets recited more and more verses from the great epic, Adil Shah was so swayed by it that he asked Rayalu to ask his scholars to rewrite Mahabharata, wherein they should talk about Adil Shah and his friend as the Pandavas and their enemies Kauravas. They shocked all the visitors. As they pondered over the situation they were in, Tenali Rama came up to King Rayalu and suggested, I have the solution to the problem. Your Majesty, please leave the matters to me. Though the king and all other scholars were not sure as to what Rama's solution might be, they decided to let him tackle this issue. Next morning, as the court resumed, Adil Shah spoke once again about Mahabharata. Rama immediately walked up to him and said, Your Majesty, we shall definitely consider your wish. But before that, we think there is something that you should know. If you could grant me a few moments in private with you, there is something that I need to tell you. Hearing about Tenali Rama's proposal, Adil Shah finally granted his request. Once they were alone, Rama began. My lord, we have started writing Mahabharata with you at Yudhishthira and your friends as other Pandavas. However, we have stumbled upon a block. You see, all 5 Pandava brothers were married to Draupadi. So in this regard, even before he could complete his sentence, Adil Shah wrote, What? I demand that you stop writing Mahabharata and any other such book. This cannot be accepted. But sir, we have already begun work as per your request, protested Rama. If you want a lifetime peace between our 2 kingdoms, then you will stop immediately. So saying, Adil Shah walked off, leaving Tenali Raman smiling within. So kids, did you like today's episode? If you like it, share it with your friends also. And I shall return with a new episode on Wednesday. So keep watching and keep listening these beautiful stories. Thank you for watching till end. Bye bye.